Saints meeting with ex-Bronco tight end, and he's scheduled to visit with the Saints. They're saying that he's in the building visiting, perhaps taking a physical, and the Saints are looking at a tight end. Right, we've seen the tight end room kind of shrink a bit. We know Juwan Johnson's there. Foster Moreau is on the pup list. So is Taysom Hill. So when you go underneath there, Dylan Hawker retired, surprising the team. He decided to retire. So you have guys like Matavo, you have Jake Stahl, you have all these other guys, Jacobson, and others that are basically practice squad people. Would the Saints benefit by bringing in a veteran tight end to kind of steady the group? And hey, man, the Saints say yes. New Orleans are interested in signing a valuable free agent tight end who was just released. With Cincinnati Bengals having already met with this player, other teams expressed interest. The Saints have set up a meeting, as reported by Jordan Schultz, on Friday. Sources say that free agent tight end Noah Fant is scheduled to visit the Saints after meeting with the Bengals yesterday. His visit in Cincinnati was described as positive. Both sides plan to stay in touch, but Fant is continuing to explore multiple options. Fant, just 27 years old, number 20th out of Iowa. You know that we love, Iowa tight ends. They drafted by the Broncos. Fant was traded to Seattle in 22 as a part of the Russell Wilson deal. He signed a 2-year deal at $21 million with Seattle back in March of 2024, but was released this week. Now, Fant has tallied 300 catches in his career to go along with over 3,300 yards and 15 touchdowns. Not bad. The Saints are currently thin at the tight end room, carrying only 2 healthy players at the position. Juwan Johnson, Jake Stahl, both Taysom and Foster continue to be on their way back, both on those guys on the pup list. Fant's release from Seattle was an incident on his talent or an indictment on his talent or potential to produce, but rather indicative of a logjam in Seattle between Fant and younger tight ends whom Seattle would prefer to play. Fant makes a ton of sense since the Saints right now. For them, it'll be interesting to see how he weighs the options there, because he could be a guy that the Saints look to bring in as well. And Noah Fant wouldn't be a bad a fit for the Saints. Like I said, it's one of those situations where the Saints need some help at the position. They really do need some help at the position, and get a tight end like Noah Fant wouldn't be a bad spot for the Saints to do, to be honest with you. I just think that, listen, big tight end, a lot of positives right here, right? Very productive, big tight end would make a lot of sense for the Saints to bring him in and give him a look-see, right? And like I said, outside of that, the Saints really don't. We don't know what Foster's going to look like, right? If he'll be ready to play. But man, Noah Fant makes sense. Big tight end, big weapon to bring in. And plus, the Saints have a bunch of money too. They got a lot of money. Give me a second. Let me pull up Noah Fant's player card so we can kind of take a look at him. Like I say, this guy was a first-round draft pick guy. Had 48 catches last year for 500 yards and a touchdown. The guy averages yards per catch. He did that last year for the Seattle club that he played for. So in the end, you look at some of the stuff that Noah Fant is and what he does. This could be an interesting pickup for the Saints, to be quite honest with you, fam. Could be an interesting. You can see his stats right here. Over the last 6 years, it'll be his 7th year. 95 games played, 300 catches, over 3,300 yards. But his average, the guy averaged on his career 11 yards per catch. Every time he catches the ball, it's a first down. And then some. Very productive, 15 touchdowns. Now, last year he just had 1. When he was in Seattle, he had 5 total touchdowns for 3 years. He was really cooking those first 3 years with Denver before they kind of traded him on up out of there. But this guy is still much a tight end in the middle of his prime. At his prime, climbing into this thing. And if the Saints could get Noah Fant, like I said, they got money to afford him. He'll have an opportunity to step in there and play, man. So, hey, man, I just think it would be a good move for the Saints to at least consider him. I think it'll be a hefty move. He's a big tight end. Let me get his. Yeah, he's a big tight end. So why not bring Noah Fant in and sign him? So we'll see. So the Saints making some moves there, man, in the end, and we'll see how it all shakes. So like I said, there's still a lot of other stuff that's going on with the Saints that we'll cover later on today, later on tonight with this episode of the Coma. We'll go into it. We'll break it down, and we'll talk about what happened today and possibly will be happening going into this year, into the weekend with the Saints practices. We'll continue to look at some of the practice competitions that's going on. And like I said, we'll keep the latest of going on with 6'5". He's 6'5", 250-pound tight end Noah Fant. We'll see if the Saints, because it makes sense to me for them to pick him up because you don't really know what's going on with Foster Moreau. Foster Moreau has been banged up a lot lately, and we just gonna have to see how it all pans out. It'll be interesting to see that indeed. So